And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Hazardous weather graphic showing a blizzard warning continuing for tonight for the central Arctic coast there. Snow and blowing snow and gusty east winds expected to continue and then subside toward morning. And in this area here, the red shaded areas are winter storm warnings out. That's for the next storm coming in from the southwest. And St. Lawrence Island, Seward Peninsula, eastern Norton Sound here into the lower Koyukuk and Kobuk Valley areas, back to the northwest coast, and eventually along the western Arctic coast up to about Point Ley. And again, heavy wind and snow coming into these areas. Winter weather advisory out for the Yukon Delta for the same conditions. And for the southeast coast, we have some areas of warnings and advisories for snow in these areas here for the next day or so. And for the satellite imagery, you can see moisture moving into the panhandle today, bringing continuous snow over the northern areas, lightening up as you head south and then ending. There's some clearing down over the southern southeast coast, Prince of Wales Island over toward Ketchikan, Annette in those areas. Snow, though, over the southeast interior, all the way up to Eagle Fort, Yukon, carrying snow. Fairbanks had moderate snow at times today, and areas of snow back to the west here along this band of clouds over the lower Yukon River Valley area, back up toward the Seward Peninsula, clearing out, a lot of clearing going on here, southeast Bering Sea to the eastern Aleutians, Alaska Peninsula up into Bristol Bay, Kodiak Island, and that following this band of clouds into northern Cook Inlet and the Susitna Valley during the afternoon hours. Out to the west, a lot of moisture flowing northeastward here associated with a push of warm air ahead of a storm system just farther to the west there, and you can see it heading right up to the northeast toward the northern Bering Sea and the Seward Peninsula area, St. Lawrence Island. And on the chart, first low here that continues to move northward and weaken brought a lot of snow, not so much amount-wise, depth-wise, but area coverage-wise here from the western North or Brooks Range area all the way down to the Yukon Delta, northern Kuskokwim Valley areas, and linking up with the moisture coming northward here over the eastern interior and down to the Prince William Sound area, mostly in the form of rain for portage over to Cordova and Yakutat today, but rain changed to snow at Portage this afternoon, and then clearing out, as I mentioned, over Cook Inlet, back to the southwest here with high pressure down in that area, and the snow over the northern panhandle with this weak low in Prince William Sound. Kind of drifts off to the east-southeast tonight, and a trough over the northern panhandle keeps periods of snow going there. And again, that tapers off as you head south, much like the pattern you saw today, ending before you get to the southern southeast areas there. Periods of snow continue for the Copper River Basin, but ending slowly from west to east, and areas of snow here for the interior continue, leftover moisture there, and then increasing wind and snow here over the Yukon Delta, Nunivak Island, St. Lawrence Island, spreading up into the Noatak Valley and across the northwest coast. Kotzebue staying breezy, and warmer temperatures begin to mix that with rain south of St. Lawrence Island. And then the front, look for some rain and snow down into the west central Aleutian areas. Clear skies, light winds, southern Alaska, Kodiak Island, Bristol Bay, Alaska Peninsula. Forecast for tomorrow. Light winds, partly sunny skies for the eastern Aleutians, Nikolsky, Dutch Harbor, Unalaska. Mostly sunny here for the Alaska Peninsula into Bristol Bay. Light winds all across southern and eastern Alaska. Here on the to the southwest of this big storm, tracking up into the Chukchi Sea, front pushing inland, snow and blowing snow, and again, winter storm warnings out for this entire area here with the advisories into the Yukon Delta. Could see some mixed precipitation in the warmer air there, briefly some freezing rain, maybe changing to rain right along the immediate coastline, and diminishing snow here over the northeast part of the state, and starting to dry out here as the system gets poised to kind of slide eastward there. Mostly sunny, southern Alaska, and still occasional light snow across all the southeast coast. And for the next day, big change as that system just goes away, replaced by mostly clear skies over the panhandle, mostly clear southern Alaska here, all the way out into the Bering Sea. Big area high pressure with the center right along the Yukon Delta coast for Tuesday afternoon. And this system here kind of comes over the top of that building ridge and then drops southeastward here, but the Alaska range will block or bank the snow there to the northwest. Nothing getting south of the mountains there, except maybe some cloudiness. Otherwise, mostly sunny, southern Alaska, and a good shot of snow, though, coming across the Tanana Valley eastward, across the Yukon Flats to the eastern Arctic coast. And otherwise, not a lot in the chart here. The next storm way out there to the west over the Komodorsky Islands, beginning to affect the Shimi and Attu area, as this high directing most of that energy right up into the Russian Far East. Lows tonight out that way in the 30s, upper 30s for the central Aleutians, back down into the around 20 degrees for Bristol Bay, and mid-teens for St. Lawrence Island and into the Seward Peninsula. 15 to 30 below for the northeast part of the state, and a little warmer, 0 for the Copper River Basin at Gulkana. Teens with the clearing here, so a little cooler tonight than it was last night. Actually, a lot cooler than it was last night, down into the 10 to 15 degree range for south central Alaska, mid-20s Kodiak Island, upper 20s northern Panhandle, and 25 to 30 to the south. And highs tomorrow in the 30s in the west, a shade below 0 in the east, and somewhere in between here in the middle of the state. Generally above 0 there for the Arctic coast, 0 to 10 for the highs there, and 15 to 25 for south central Alaska, 30s for the Alaska Peninsula, 30s to near 40 for the Aleutians, Pribilofs, and highs in the 30s here for the southeast coast. That'll be followed by lows, 20s in the northern Panhandle, 30s down to the south, and back below 0 for the Copper River Basin, eastern interior again anywhere from 5 to 25 below, and the Arctic coast about 5 to 10 below there, above 0 on the west side, and in the teens for the Kuskokwim Valley, teens to near 20, 15 to 20 for Bristol Bay, and in the 30s for the Aleutians and Bering Sea. Highs in the teens, 15 to 20, south central Alaska, Kenai Peninsula, and right around 0 in the Copper River Basin area. Highs in the mid-20s there in the Tanana Valley, and 30s back to the west a little bit, or near 30, 25 to 30, staying below freezing anyway, and teens to lower 20s for the Arctic coast, and then the 30s for the southeast coast.